Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, we're going to be talking all about digital products and how you can make a successful digital product shop from home and make money while you sleep, which is a really great way to make money, right? I always tell people, if you're creative, if you can draw, if you have just a creative mindset in general or have a good idea, then you can make digital products too. Think about the millions and millions of shoppers online, and especially nowadays, people have the mindset that they want things right then and there, right? So if you create digital products, you're able to deliver that to them. You take the time to create the product one time, don't know how long it'll take you, but you create it one time and you sell that product over and over and over again, and your buyer gets it immediately if you choose to go that route. So it's really a win-win for both sides. So today I'm going to talk to you about how to start and run a digital product shop. And I figured this is going to be a little bit of a series. I'm going to actually show you different things, how to make certain things, and kind of go about your digital product journey. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I have been selling on Etsy for many, many years, mostly physical products. And about 2 years ago, I started selling digital products. And it really opened my eyes up to the potential that digital products can provide to you. It's a great way to earn money, and the more time that you put into it, the more money that you can make. So today we're going to go into all the ins and outs of selling digital products, and I'm going to share a couple tips with you today too. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first step of our business plan is to decide what kind of digital products that we want to create. There are so many types out there, but just to name a few: SVG design, so that's cut files for Silhouette and Cricut users, laser users. That's personally what I create. You could do PNG files, so those are things that sublimation users and other types of users use with their printers, so they print the designs out and kind of heat press them onto their shirts or whatever they want to do with that. We have editable printables, so you could do things like invitations and digital planners and wall art printable stuff. So the list goes on and on and on, but that's the first step, is to really just narrow down, what do you want to create? Do you want to do a little bit of a mix of a lot of different types of digital designs? You can niche down as specific as you'd like, or you can go as broad as you'd like, but this is the time to kind of narrow down what you want and what you think that you would enjoy creating the most. So you've done that research and you've figured out exactly what type of files that you want to create. So next, it's time to learn your file types. This is actually very important when it comes to selling digital products. You need to learn all the different file types and figure out what works best for the type of product that you want to create. For example, I sell SVG designs, among other things, but mainly cut files for users with like Silhouettes and Cricuts and just different vinyl cutting machines. So I knew from market research and looking at all of the other shops that a lot of those files include SVG, DXF, PNG, JPEG, and EPS or AI sometimes. So those are a lot of different file types that I have to familiarize myself with and learn how to work with those types of files if I'm going to sell them. Some shops only stick to just SVG, but just while you're doing this research, you might realize that some versions of Silhouette, for example, can only use DXF files, which are really easy to convert. So don't let all these names and things scare you, but you need to just do your research and figure out, okay, I'm gonna sell cut files, so I know that I need to learn mainly SVG, DXF. Those are the two main cut files that these cutting machines use. So just kind of familiarize yourself with these file types and what type that you need to learn and use. What sizes do these people that sell these products use? So once you figure that part out, you need to then decide what kind of software you're going to use to create these file types. So let's talk a little bit about some of these file types and popular softwares that others use for them. All right, so here are some different file types that you're going to be pretty familiar with in the design world, but let's go ahead and start with SVG. So one free site is Inkscape. Of course, it being free, you're probably a little bit limited on all of the things you can do with it, but it is an option. Silhouette Business Edition and Adobe Illustrator being my favorite, just because you can save all the different file types on there. You can export as one and change it to another. So it's very easy to save that file type as multiple different file types for different users. So PNG designs, you can do Inkscape, Canva, and PicMonkey, which is a monthly paid thing. I personally use both and I love them both for designing different things, but you can design a lot in there, and it's actually becoming very popular in today's age, is Canva and PicMonkey. Procreate, so this is where you can basically draw your designs and save them and your customer can buy them. Silhouette Business Edition, Photoshop, and Illustrator. And then we have JPEG, so Canva and PicMonkey, Procreate, GIMP, Photoshop, and Illustrator. PDF files, you can use Canva and PicMonkey, Procreate, and Adobe Illustrator. And this is kind of a newer thing that I've been noticing is Cordial and Template. These are websites that basically you as the seller purchase this as a monthly thing. You put your designs in there and your customer goes and designs their printables. So let's say it's a birthday invitation, they can literally plug in their photos and change the dates and the addresses and all of that and download it immediately onto their computer and print it from home or whatever they want to do. So this is an option if you're wanting to look into something that your customer is going to edit and print from home. It kind of does the work for you. So that's an option as well. So these are just kind of some of the popular, softwares out there. There are a lot more, I know, but these are just some popular ones that I've noticed that others use. A good thing to remember when looking at all of these file types is what is going to help you best in your business. What is going to help you in the long term grow. Of course, it's great to start sometimes with something that's free and kind of learn and grow from there. But also sometimes it's good to invest into something that is going to make your business professional and that you can manipulate and work with many file types, which is why I invest in Adobe Illustrator. So that's just something to keep in mind. And as well as that, not trying to jumble in a bunch of information, but you're going to be working with something called zip files too. So familiarize yourself with zip files. Sometimes you might save, for example, in my SVG shop, I save as multiple file types. So I compress all of these different file types into a zip folder. So basically your customer will get one file and they're able to kind of extract the file and pick and choose which files that they want to work with. So if let's say they just want the SVG design, they'll click the SVG design and so on. So that's something that you're going to want to, I guess, familiarize yourself with as well. It's very easy to use. So I haven't had any problems with customers, needing help with that. But for large file types and multiple file types, you're going to definitely want to get used to zip files and using that within your business as well. So wrapping up that little section, we need to remember to familiarize ourselves with our file types, learn what will give our customers the best quality and what is kind of the industry standard in what you're looking at and what you're looking into selling. So that's something very important to kind of just learn and study and figure out. And I know it seems overwhelming when you hear all these file types and you're like, oh no, I'll never be able to do it, because I was very overwhelmed in the beginning as well. But once you start learning it and reading into it and designing and getting your hands kind of dirty with it and learning it, it's not bad at all. So part of our business plan as well, we're going to figure out who is our target audience. And you need to be thinking about, like I was talking about earlier, are you going to niche down to be only invitations? Are you going to sell cut files? Are you going to sell printable planners, stickers? What are you going to sell? And that's kind of where you're going to narrow it down from there. Are you going to be very specific? Are you going to be broader? And then just kind of figure that out before you go into this next section, which will be market research. So here in a second, we're going to jump onto the computer and I'm going to show you a little of how I do my market research to figure out exactly what I want to sell and how you can be successful in this, because I've said this a lot, but I'll say it again. Market research is probably one of the most, if not the most important aspects of your business. You need to kind of stay in tune with what's selling, what's trending, what people are actually shopping for, to know kind of what to sell so you can be successful. Because we're not, and I've said this before, but we're not making products for us. We're making products for our audience and for the people that are shopping on the internet. So let's go ahead and get on into the computer and I will show you a little bit about how you can plan your products to be successful. So here we are on Etsy.com and I'm going to show you guys how you can do some simple market research just to get ideas of things that will convert to sales, because that's kind of important to remember, is that we're not creating for ourselves, we're creating for our customer, and we want to see what is selling on Etsy. So I am going to do some research for my SVG design shop. So here we are typing in something very basic, SVG design. So you're going to go to that page and you're just going to scroll and take notes of what you see kind of over and over and over again. For example, just here too, I see floral and floral. I know know that floral's doing well. And whoa, they both have bestseller and popular now badges. So write these things down and get ideas for what you see and what's trending and popular, because the people on this first page are obviously doing well because they ranked on the first page, they have badges, their SEO is on point, which means their titles, tags, descriptions, and keywords are doing well. So along with that, we want to get a little bit more specific. We wrote down what we saw here, but we want to do back to school SVGs because it is almost back to school time. So we want to get an idea of what is doing well here in the back to school realm. So you'll do the same thing here. Take notes of popular now badges and just see what you see. I see a lot of bundles. I see a lot of apples. I see leopard print, gaming things, and just all that good stuff. So write all of this down and maybe take notes of some things that you like and that you want to kind of create. Obviously not copying, but getting inspiration and ideas here. So you might notice this little bar here on the side of my Etsy, and this is actually a Chrome extension called Everbee. I've been using it for several months now, and I really honestly love it because you're able to see the back end of Etsy, kind of things that you would not be able to see unless you had this. It gives you some analytics of the listings, so favorites, estimated monthly revenue, estimated monthly sales, so you can get even more specific to say, hey, is this an item that is worth my time to create? Is it doing well? And obviously, like I said, again, not to copy, but is a similar product worth it? Are these bundles worth it? So I'm actually an affiliate for them, so I have it linked down below if you guys want to try it. It's completely free to download and use, and if you want to upgrade to have more analytics searches, you can, but it's completely free to use. So I'm going to go over here and click this analytics button, and it's going to pull some data from this first page. All right, so now that that's loaded, I'm going to go over here and I want to see favorites. So I want to see what buyers are favoriting, hearting, adding to their cart, because that is actually something really important to take note of. And see here, it's letting us know that this out of the first page is getting the most amount of favorites. It is a huge grade school bundle. It gives us all of this estimated revenue, estimated sales, the listing age, favorites, and the estimated total sales, which is really cool to keep in mind. So this is all estimated. It could be more than this even, depending on different variations. But what I'm focusing on for digital stuff is these favorites. But if you want to get even more information, you can actually click on this button or on the photo and it will show even more information. So here are all of the tags that this person is using, their title, categories, all of that information. So that's really cool to kind of keep in mind, like how did they rank on this first page? These are some tags that they used. If you want to even go and get more information, you can actually click on the product name and it'll pull up the page. And you can click analytics on virtually any page on Etsy and it will pull the data for any page on here and let you know even more information. So that's a really cool feature of this tool as well. So that is what I will typically do, is I will come on Etsy and just brainstorm and get different ideas of what is trending and popular, and even go to some of these really big design shops and get an idea of what they're selling well and ideas of different things that you can create as well, so you can get inspiration. So I hope that this helped you guys, but let's head on back into the craft room and we'll talk about a little bit more. Now we're going to talk about how are you going to deliver your products to your customers. So there's a lot of different ways that people deliver digital products to their customers. Are you going to have your customer purchase that order and then you go and design it and send it to them digitally after a certain period of time? That might be a little bit more work for you, but I've seen a lot of sellers do it that way. Are you going to have it where your customer has to go in and fill out something and design it themselves and print it out from home, or are you going to just send it instantaneously to them? So this is the time to kind of sit back and think about, how can you make it easy for your customer? What is, I guess, the industry standard? What are others doing that are popular in bigger shops? How are they delivering their products to their customers? And just kind of figure that out and figure out the best way to deliver that to your customer. But that's definitely something important to sit down and figure out how you're going to do that. So talking about how you can make it easy for your customer, another thing really important to sit down and think about is, future problems that could come up. So maybe certain file types that require a little bit more effort, or is it going to require maybe I create instructions for the customer so that they don't have questions and they can get their answers right away. So for my digital products, I give a couple of different things to the customer. If they need help with their files, I tell them in the description though to please be familiar with your cutting machine and how to work with files, because we as a digital creator are not really going to coach people on how to extract a zip file and how to put that SVG into their software, because there are so many softwares out there. We know how to create the products, but it's really up to your customer to kind of know how. Even though we're there as the seller, it's kind of their job. So make sure to make disclosures like that, give instructions if needed, and just kind of think about future problems and how you can avoid it, and maybe even things you can invest in to make it easier, like some of those websites where your customer can customize the stuff and you don't have to really do anything. So that's something else important to think about. So how you can stand out and remain successful as a digital creator. So like we talked about before, continuing your market research, that is so important. Stay within trends, keep selling what people are searching for and looking for, and whatever you water will continue to grow. So you just have to keep investing time into that business. I have one shop that I sell certain SVG designs, and it already does pretty well for me not even putting any effort into. So if you continue to put effort into those shops and have the time for it and just keep throwing your efforts into that, it will keep remaining successful and it will keep growing. You just have to put that time and energy into it and do that market research, and you're gonna be great. So now we're gonna run over to Etsy, and I'm gonna show you kind of how to import your file into Etsy and save it as a listing. It's pretty simple, but I just wanted to throw that in there just in case you were curious. All right, so I'm gonna show you really quickly how you add a digital product here on Etsy. It's really easy to do, really simple. If you do other products on Etsy, it's the same way. You're just gonna have to tweak a couple things. So you're gonna add your photos here. If you want video, your title, right here in the about, you're gonna wanna stop and put who created it. Okay, I did. It is a supplier tool to make things. That is not a finished product, so we wanna select that. When was it created? It was created, we'll just say 20 to 2022. Your category is whatever you want it to be, your renewal options, and then right here for this type, you're gonna put digital. If you put physical, you're not gonna have the option down below to upload your product. So we're gonna select this digital option. Do everything else as it asks. So here you're gonna upload your digital file here. If it's a large file or multiple different files, you're probably gonna wanna compress it in a zip file. You can research that on Google how to do so. It's really easy to do. But you're gonna compress them, add them here, maybe add some instructions along with it, or maybe your terms of use along with it in a Word document or whatever you wanna do. But this is where you're gonna upload it here, and when your customer purchases it, it is going to then have it to where they can download it and then they get it immediately. If you have a way where you want to your customer to send you maybe some information and you go and create the product for them, but it's still a digital file, maybe you could put something like a picture that they get that says, "Thank you for your order. Your order will arrive via email in 5 to 7 business days. If you have any questions, blah, 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 blah." So you can still put something in here depending on how you're going to go about this. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it for creating your listing on Etsy. It's pretty easy to do, but hope that helped. So I hope that you guys found this video helpful. I definitely really truly enjoy making digital products, and so I wanted to help you all out and share a little bit of tips and tricks and things that have helped me within my years on Etsy, and I know that it is something all of you can do as well. If you just put your mind to it and work hard, you can accomplish it as well. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned because I have a lot of ideas and different videos planned for digital designs and different things like that, and some tutorials and all of that coming soon. So stay tuned for that, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.